Wednesday today, guys. Wednesday the 8th of July. Let's get busy. Okay, so if you have a read of this paragraph and then figure out which word rhymes with the word by, okay? Here you go, pause me now. Young Aristard disliked the flames which scorched as they shot by. She found it all too scary and preferred the cooling. Shout it out! What rhymes with by? Sky. Okay, read the paragraph, have a little read of your words that could go in there, and your word needs to rhyme with fight. You can see it in bold there. Pause me now. If only we weren't enemies, we wouldn't need to fight. And maybe if we worked together, things would be okay? Things would be all right? Things would be good? We wouldn't need to fight, and maybe if we worked together, things would be all right. Woo! Then have a little read, have a look at your options. Pause me now. Then suddenly Sir Gorrel turned to Aristide and said, "Forget this silly training, let's put on a show instead." Woo! So read your questions, read the text, sentence stems to answer your questions. Off you go, guys. Pause me now. So how might you describe Jack's journey up the beanstalk, and what does the word ajar mean? Nice piece of vocabulary. Jack was fit and strong and started to climb the beanstalk with ease. However, the higher he climbed, the harder it got to find things that he could grab onto. Soon his limbs started to tire. "I must go on," he said to himself firmly. He grasped the beanstalk and climbed higher up to the clouds. Eventually he reached the very top. Jack saw an enormous castle. As he stepped closer, he realized that even the door was far bigger than any he had ever seen before. It had been left slightly ajar, and Jack was able to sneak inside. So how might you describe Jack's journey up the beanstalk? Well, we can see that Jack was fit and strong, and he started to climb the beanstalk with ease. That means he found it easy. This word here tells us, however, there's a shift. However, the higher he climbed, the harder it got to find things that he could grab. So it was easy at the bottom, but as he got higher, it was getting tricky, and it was getting tricky to find things, and he was getting more tired. And what does the word ajar mean? Can you find the word ajar? Here it is. It's up here, isn't it? It had been left slightly ajar. So what does it mean? It had been left slightly. Have a look at the picture. What does ajar mean? That it had been left slightly open. Good job. Okay, read your questions, read the text, think about your sentence stems, and then answer your questions. Pause me now. So what does the author think? What does the author describe the furniture as? And what do you think is making the ground underneath Jack shake? Jack stared in amazement. All of the furniture was huge. The chairs and the tables towered above him like skyscrapers. There was a bowl of water on the floor for a cat or a dog to drink from, but it was so big that Jack could have bathed in it. Suddenly, the floor beneath Jack's feet began to shake, and Jack heard a loud rumbling noise. His heart was beating loudly in his chest as he scurried quickly inside a cupboard to hide. So what does the author describe the furniture as? The author describes the furniture as huge. The chairs and tables towered above him like skyscrapers. So the author describes the furniture as skyscrapers, and the bowl on the floor was so big that Jack could have bathed in it. It was like a bath. What do you think is making the ground underneath Jack shake? Suddenly, so there's a change, isn't there? Suddenly, the floor beneath Jack's feet began to shake. Jack heard a loud rumbling noise. His heart was beating loudly in his chest as he scurried quickly inside the cupboard to hide. He knew he needed to hide. What do you think is coming? So he's in a giant house with giant skyscraper furniture, giant bowls of water. What is he expecting to find? He expects it to be a giant.
Some children are throwing beanbags around. Whoa, great throw. For the next game, each player needs 2 beanbags each. There are 8 beanbags altogether, and we're grouping them into 2s. So here's our first 2, there's 2, there's 2, and there's 2. How many groups have we got? We've got 4 groups of 2. The children play their game and they have a lot of fun. For the next game, you need 4 beanbags per player. So we group them into 4s. There's one group of 4 and there's another group of 4. How many groups do we have? 8 grouped into 4s gives us 2 groups. Dora has been playing a Happy Families card game. There are her cards. What you've got to do is make a whole family. Has she made a whole family? Yes, she has. Well done, Dora. There are 4 cards in each family. Dora would like to play again. All the cards are face down on the table, and everybody needs 4 cards. Usually what we do is collect all the cards together and then share them out one at a time. One for one person, one for another person, one for another person, and go round again. But Dora isn't very good at dealing. She hasn't had much practice. So what she does is groups the cards together. So she's not sharing them out. She's making groups of 4. And then she gives one group to each person. How many groups has she made? And how many cards are there in each group? And how many cards are there altogether? Pause the video here to have a go at answering the questions and see if you can fill out that number sentence at the bottom. How did you get on with that? How many groups has she made? She's made 3 groups. And how many cards are in each group? There are 4 cards in each group. And there are 12 cards altogether, which is really important when we come to the number sentence, because we start with the whole amount. There are 12 cards altogether, and we're grouping them into groups of 4. And then we get 3 groups of 4. This is grouping. If we were sharing them, we'd start with 12, and we'd give 1 to one person, 1 to another person, and 1 to the third person, and we keep going, dividing our cards between 3 people, and each person would get 4 cards each. Can you see the difference between grouping and sharing? Grouping, we're making groups of 4, and there are 3 groups, whereas sharing, we're giving 1 to one person, 1 to another person, 1 to another person, so we're giving 1 each to the 3 people, and each person will end up with 4 cards. Jack has been potato printing. Wow! Great printing, Jack. Have you done any printing? If you'd like to, have a go now. And then, afterwards, can you circle groups of 2 prints? If you had the same number of prints as Jack, how many groups would you have circled? And can you fill out this number sentence? Pause the video here to have a go. Did you have a go? How many groups did you circle? Did you circle 5? And did you see that the whole was 10 and you were circling in groups of 2? So you did 5 groups. Alex has drawn a track and is jumping along it. There she goes. She's jumping up in 2s, isn't she? Great jumping, Alex. She's jumped to 8 with 4 equal jumps of 2. So we know that 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4. She jumped up in 2s and she did 4 jumps. A new track this time. She's jumping up in 5s this time. she's got to 15 with how many equal jumps of how many? And then can you fill out the number sentence at the bottom? Pause the video here to have a go. How did you get on with that? That's right, she's done 3 equal jumps of 5. So we've got 15 altogether, and they're in groups of 5, and there are 3 jumps. Well done, Alex. More jumping, Alex. Hold on, where is Alex? Oh, she's having a little rest. Can you tell me how many jumps of 10 she would need to get to 40? And then can you complete the number sentence at the bottom? Pause the video here to have a go. Did you draw a track for yourself? And did you do the jumps? You can do if you want to. Alex got to 40 with 4 equal jumps of 10. So we know 40 divided by 10 is equal to 4. Here's Amir. He's got 30 crayons and he's sorting them into groups. He wants to know how many pots he'll need. So he takes his 30 crayons and he puts them into groups of 1. He's got 30 ones. How many pots will he need? He'll need 30 pots with 1 crayon in each. Next, he takes his 30 crayons and he puts them into groups of 2. How many pots will he need this time? Will he need 30 again? Or will he need 60? Oh no, if he's got groups of 2 pencils this time, he'll only need 15 pots. Then he takes his 30 pencils and he puts them into groups of 3, and then groups of 4, groups of 5, groups of 6 and groups of 7. And he sees how many pots he needs. Do you think you can find out how many pots he needs? But Amir says be careful, because sometimes when he put his pencils into groups, he couldn't make equal groups. So that wasn't fair. So he moved on to the next number. Pause the video here and have a think to yourself. 30 crayons into groups of 3 or groups of 4 or groups of 5 or groups of 6 or groups of 7. Maybe it's a good idea to get some crayons and have a go at this. I wonder if you could go further than Amir. He's only gone up to groups of 7. I wonder what happens with groups of 8 or 9 or 10. Pause the video here and have a go. How did you get on? Are you tired after all that sorting of crayons? Here are the answers. I hope those 2 didn't trip you up. Well done. Pause the video here and have a go at the White Rose Maths worksheet. Or, if you'd like to, go to the BBC Bitesize website to complete the supplementary material.
So, take 15 counters, pieces of pasta, cereal, and put the counters into groups of 3 and then complete the sentences. There are 15 counters. The counters are in groups of how many? And there are how many groups? And then Mo has 20 chairs. So you can draw the chairs if you want to, or you can just have a look at it and think about how you'd arrange it, or you can use your pasta or your cereal to get your 20 chairs. So circle groups of 5 chairs. So put 5 chairs into each group. How many groups did you make? And then answer the number sentence at the bottom. Pause me now. So you can see the counters are in groups of 3 and there are 5 groups. How many groups did you circle? You circled 4 groups with 5 in each group, and so the number sentence is 20 divided by 5 equals 4. Complete the number sentence and use the number line to help you. So 30 divided by 10 equals what? You can see the jumps. How many? 30 is made of this many equal groups of how many? And then B is 30 divided by 5 equals, so have a look at the number line. 30 is made out of how many equal groups of how many? And then investigate with other equal groups you could make with 30 and then talk about it with somebody or send it to me in an email. Pause me now. So 30 divided by 10 is 3. 30 is made of 3 equal groups of 10. 30 divided by 5 is 6. 30 is made of 6 equal groups of 5. And then what did you investigate? Let me know. So Eva is putting 24 pencils in the pot. She puts 2 pencils into each pot. How many pots does Eva need? So you're going to have to figure it out. You can use your pencils. You can use some pencil crayons, some felt tips. You can use pasta or cereal, whatever you want, and put 2 in each pot. How many pots? So how many pencils are there divided into how many pots? How many's in each pot? So Eva needs how many pots? And then number 6, with 40 counters, you can only make equal groups of 4 and 10. Is wrong correct? How do you know? Pause me now. So there's 24 pencils, you put 2 in each pot and it gives you 12 pots. So 24 divided by 2 equals 12. Is wrong correct? No. Why not? Let me know. So the first sentence, when I woke up in the morning, I walked to the window. So that's in the past, isn't it? And it's happened in the past. Walked to the window, so it's a simple past tense. The next sentence, I saw a huge fire that had started in the night. So you've got to go through each of the sentences and think about when it's simple past, so it's when it's in the past and it's finished. Simple present tense, when it's in the present and it's finished. Past progressive tense, when it's in the past and it hasn't yet finished. And the present progressive tense, so when it's in the present and it hasn't finished. So have a look at each sentence in isolation and think about where those sentences are going to go in the 4 chambers, okay? Then the tense form we use the most is which one. And so the burner's favourite food is, which one has the most underneath the heading, so which one is his favourite, what, the burner's favourite baked food. Pause me now. So you can see, when I woke up this morning, I walked to the window, simple past. I saw a huge fire that had started in the night, simple past. Then we've got simple present, I think my house is not safe. Then the only present progressive tense, my family and I are feeling afraid, and so my family, I did that wrong last time, my family are afraid and so am I. And so that's the smallest one. The biggest one is the past progressive tense. You've got 1, 2, 3 sentences in that one. So the burner's favourite food, baked cake, is cake. So let's have a look here. Baked cake. So, Anne, you are an adult. You bake and your favourite food is a cake. You're still in. Charles, you're an adult. You bake and your favourite is cake. Ooh. Child, no. Adult, baking, but bread. So you're out, Dorothea. See ya. Edmund, adult baking cake. So it could be Edmund still could be Edmund. Eleanor was out. So Florence, you were still in. Adult baking but a bun. Florence is out as well. It's not Florence. It's not. Who else did we say it could be? We said it could be Gilbert. Adult baking but pie. So it's not Gilbert. Hester, adult baking and cake. So it could be Hester. Honor, child, no. Adult baking and cake. Isaac, still could be you. So it could be Hester. Could be Isaac. Joycey, adult baking but a pie. So it's not Joyce. Matthew, adult baking and cake, so it's still could be Matthew. And then Thomasia, adult baking and cake. So adult baking and pie, Zachary. So it could be Anne, it could be Charles, it could be Edmund, it could be, I'm just going down my list, Hester, making sure I've got the right people. It could be Isaac, yes. It could be Matthew, and it could be Thomasia. Ooh, 2 more clues, then we'll know who. Okay, so today we're going to create a storyboard on Jack and the Beanstalk, but starring you and the Beanstalk. So can you create your story map however you want? I've included a template that you might want to use, but you can create your own storyboard to take us through the story. So it might look a little bit like this. This is in the workbook. You might want to draw it like this, or you might want to draw it completely different. Can you plan your own version of you and the Beanstalk? Keep reminding yourself of the story as you move through the boxes. You'll have to complete it tomorrow once the story is complete. We're going to have the last little bit because we haven't read all of the story yet, have we? So you'll have to finish it off tomorrow. We need to be looking at weather. Oh, disappeared. We need to be looking at weather. So I thought it might be interesting to have a little look through these slides on weather and some activities that we might be able to do. So I'd like you to have a think about what the word weather means, what different types of weather there are, what is the weather like today, and how do you know? What are your clues like in guided reading, looking for the clues? What are the clues? So the weather, what kind of weather is it? How will you find out about what the weather will be like tomorrow? So pause me now to have a think or a discussion about those questions. So the different weather, we have sunny, windy, rainy, we have sunny intervals, thunderstorms, and weather forecasts. So I thought it might be exciting if you pretended to be a weatherman or a weatherwoman, and you can talk us through what today is. So when they go to the weather, they go, "Thanks, Jane. Thanks for handing over to me there, Jane. Now I'd like to talk to you about the weather." So today we can see that it's a very sunny day, and we know that it's a very sunny day because the sky is blue, there are no clouds in sight, and it's very warm. The temperature is high today. So I want you to go through, so decide what kind of day you're going to be reporting on. You could pretend to be in a blizzard. It could be the coldest, most wintry day you've ever experienced. It doesn't actually have to be what day it is today. And you're going to do a presentation as the weatherman or the weatherwoman in the studio, being handed over by Jane or whoever you want. I want you to do some reenactments of what it would be like to be a weather person, please. I've just had a mare. I don't know if you've got what I've just done or whether it's been re-recorded over. I don't know, but I've tried to highlight and click and it hasn't worked. So I'm going to start. I don't know. So if we start with branches snapping in the wind, which one of these looks like it is the picture for that would make a branch snap in the wind? Rain, really heavy rain might. Wind, snow, really heavy snow might as well. Sunny and cloudy. But let's have a look at these other pictures and see about these. So pause me now, because I might not have told you to do this already. Pause me now and have a look which three matches. So you need one from the top, one for the middle, one for the bottom. How are you going to match them up? Pause on that. Pause me now. I'm going to mare on this slide, guys. So you could be saying, well, rain could snap the branch. You're right, and snow could. But which one of these top pictures, if we pick snow, which one do you think it's going to be? It's going to be this one, isn't it? And this one goes with the snow. Which image do you think at the bottom represents the snow? And if you're not sure, work backwards. Which one do you know for sure? We know that's fog, don't we, for sure? F-O-G, fog. Which one do you think is going to be snow? Which one looks like it's like this one, I reckon? Yeah, all greens, all the greens. So then the rain, we said rain could have broke the branches. Is it going to be pink? No. No. Which picture at the top is going to go with the rain? Is it going to be the car fog lights, the sun cream, or the umbrella, of course? And then which one of these at the bottom? Which one at the bottom? It's the center one, isn't it? So which one of these has made the tree branches snap? Windy, sunny and cloudy, or fog? Wind, yes. Shall we have a look? Which one do you think is the wind on the bottom here? Well, this one says fog, doesn't it? This one on the far left-hand side, what's that going to be? You can see the little sun behind the cloud. This one is the wind symbol, so they're all our pinks. So then let's go to the car fog lights. Which picture shows fog? Yeah, it's a misty, magical cloud, isn't it? A fog-like cloud. And then this one says fog, that's easy. And then the last three, let's check we've done it right. Our sun cream, when it's a sunny and cloudy day, and there you can see the sun behind the cloud. Good job, guys. Now, how might we measure the weather? That's a question for us, isn't it? How might we we measure the weather. That's a tongue twister. So in the pack, on the Monday pack, I have put together some little ideas for creating your own weather measuring devices. Now, if you're in school, I'm not sure what you can and cannot access. I'm hoping a little cup and maybe some twigs. I was thinking maybe you might be able to use twigs from the wild area, from the forest area, to put all that together. I was hoping maybe you might be able to make a wind measure at least. Maybe if you're at home, you might be able to make a water measure. I know Mrs. Mullen has set that as one of your challenges. We did see a couple. If you've already done that, you obviously don't need to do it again because you'll have one in the garden. But if you can show me some of your results, because we've had some fierce rain, haven't we? So in the work pack on the Monday, there are some ideas of how you can do this. You can spread it out. You don't need to do it today. They're just some ideas. Now, this video is problematic. I can't download it. So I've got an image here, but I can't download it to my computer to upload it so that it just magically works for you guys. So what I have done is I've made a copy at the top of the BBC bite-sized clip. It's Z9G87TY. If you type in that into the top of the Google, then it will come up. Or you can just Google making weekly weather recordings and that video will come up and you can have a little peek at that video and give you some more information about weather stations. And this is what they would look like. Now, the thermometer, we can't make thermometers, but if you're in school, there might be a thermometer that you are able to put outside. We had one in our classroom for a little while, didn't we? That's how your rain gauge will look if you're at home or if you're able to create that. And then that majestic beast is what the wind direction. You're going to have a little think of, find out of where north, south, east and west is, aren't you? Maybe you need some grown-ups to help you do that if you don't have a compass. Phones have compasses, so you'll be able to find that information out by using your phone. And then I have included in the work booklet a weather report. Now, you don't need to download that weather report to be able to write a weather report. You can have a look on the screen right now. Actually, I'm going to put a bigger one on. I'll add an extra screen in after this one to do a bigger one so that you can get an idea of what it is that we need to look at. I'll do that now. Here I've blown up the sheet a little bit, so if you are at home or if you're in school, and it's tricky getting everything printed out, isn't it? So you can create your own weather report replicating this. So you can put a date and a season at the top, and then you can put what the weather is like today. You can draw an image. Today it has been, it is spelt. So there's some words underneath that you can use to include that, and then you can create yourself a little weather chart. And every day when you come into school or when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed in the evening, you can create your own little weather chart, and we can keep a tab of what the weather's like. Now, you might not be able to do the temperature, you might not be able to do the rainfall, you might not, whichever it is that you have made and created to be able to record, then you can fill that in. You can also talk about, you can do the little symbols if you wanted to. So on the Monday workbook, there's the little symbols that you can use. So you can make it and add to it however you want. But it would be lovely to be able to see a weather chart where I can see a real clear picture of what the weather has been like. So the little weather report that we did at the beginning of this, I wonder how much more information we've got and that we feel like we've learned about being a weather reporter. I wonder if we can do a week's weather report. So have a look at your little table of results that you've been keeping, and you can do a reflective. This week, the weather has been, and you can take us through each day and talk to us about the different things that you know and that you've recorded about each day's weather. I would love to see some videos. I'd love to see your charts. However you do it, I would love to see your weather reports for a week. And then the next few slides are the slides that we had before on the CC stuff. I know you've started to work your way through some of these, but I know there's still some activities that some of you haven't worked your way through yet. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to keep all this together, and then it's a pick and choose what it is that you'd like to do, isn't it? So here is the time capsule where you can create a news report about your experience of lockdown. You could do a diary entry. You could also do a diary entry if you're in school now. If I know things are changing all the time, so you might have a different diary that you could write in now. These are some little things that we talked about. Now more and more of you are coming back into school, so this might not be as appropriate, but still some of you are at home, so you might like to do this. This is the pen pal option, which I thought was a fabulous idea. You could really make somebody's heart sing, couldn't you, with this one? Then we've got the little book of lockdown. So we're doing the digital book in school, aren't we? So how are you guys getting on with that one? Have we got any information that you want to forward on to me? Because I'd love to see that. And then this is our connected curriculum menu challenge board, and I know that some of you guys in school have been starting to work on this, and it has been fabulous. Mrs. Statham and Miss Budden have been talking about all the beautiful things that you're doing, and I'm very impressed, very, very impressed. So I thought I'd pop this on here as well in case there's anything in there you want to keep on beavering away with. Good job, guys.